Hey guys, episode 4. Welcome.
Yeah.
Ignore. Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a long
It's
time.
really long time. Ignore that fact and just sit with us as we go through.
Yeah. I believe last time we did fantasy tangents, so this time let's do some stuff on westerns.
Hell yeah.
Because honestly, I believe that they don't get enough attention.
As you can already see, we figured this out by watching the Overwatch animated short reunion a while back. If you're looking at my Discord screen, which I think you probably are because of things, and I'm a bad editor, so um, I'll be honest. A lot of my friends are just better at me than this, but uh, so yeah, we're just gonna go on a couple of tangents like we did with all the fantasy stuff. Obviously, my good friend Jack is better with westerns, original type westerns, than I am, but I have a couple things to put in as well.
He's
So,
got a couple tricks up his sleeve.
I got a couple of friends on the other side, if you may say.
Leslie Odom Jr. should really play him.
Oh my god, please.
Yeah.
Please, please, they still haven't done Princess and the Frog musical or live action, please. It's such a good film.
Like, if there's only one Disney live-action remake that they should do, it's of Princess and the Frog.
I
But let's
know.
shut up about that. Let's get to westerns.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay, I think Jack's gonna take it away here.
Actually, let's have you go first.
Oh. Alright, I'll bring out Yugo for this one if you want.
No, I don't think they'll get it.
None of the people here will get it. That's an inside joke, I'm sorry. Yeah, alright.
Yeah, Iggs.
So, the first thing I want to talk about, because it's possibly the most Western thing I've ever watched, is The Mandalorian, because it's just incredible. Some of it's newer I talked to you about this, episode 2. I'm an arachnophobe, so if you guys have watched episode 2, you know why I don't like it that much. But it's just a lot
Let
of
me
spiders.
guess, there are spider droids in it?
It's not droids, it's like actual physical spider-looking things, and it creeped the hell out of me. It's why I can't watch movies with spiders. It's just so but
I'm guessing that you hate Chamber of Secrets then, because they have to go into like the forest with all the spiders.
Well, Aragog is less so because it's so obviously not an actual spider. It's just a puppet. So when it's so obvious that it's not actually a spider, like with props or with like large puppets, then I'm fine. But when it's like CGI spiders, it's just no.
CGI spirits.
CGI spirits. Spider pirates, oh no! The spirits, were...
It's basically Admiral Trench from the Clone Wars. Spider pirate.
Spider pirate. But yeah, Mandalorian is using what originally the style of Star Wars was going to be, which is all just Western to its full extent. It's such a just nice thing to watch because it's so fresh and it fits the world so well because it's all supposed to be Western style, like the entirety of Star Wars should be, but I'll get into that later. The Mandalorian in general, it takes so many tropes and song cue, like musical cues from good old spaghetti westerns, like the song itself, the do dee do dee do dee do dee do dee do, is a parody of do wee wee.
Or at least just a similar melody.
Or it's just I think it's intentional though, if we're being honest, because
I believe that would be an homage then.
Yeah, the people who worked on the show they so clearly know what they're doing with this. Like, they're not bullshitting their way through it like the people in the sequel trilogy. Like, they actually care about the material. Like, they've watched all the Star Wars films and they've been watching it for a long time. And
I literally just realized
they
this.
really care about what's up.
The do 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 do
Yep.
is literally the exact same notes as do 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 do.
Yep.
It's that same note
That's
pattern.
why
Oh
I
my god!
said. That's why I said it's like an
How did I
homage to
not
that.
get that?
And then of course that gets, it also is overrun with like Star Wars style stuff. Like the theme song, it has the da da dun da da dun dun da 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 da, and then there's like the chord progressions with the da 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 da. As you know, I'm a music guy. I'm gonna gush over the music whenever it's possible. All that music is so incredible, but then you get into like Star Wars territory after like da 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 da. And then you get this chord progression that's so Star Wars. It just goes bum ba da dum da 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 da. But at the same time, it's a heroic melody for the main purpose of one being something that they can put into the story as hero moments, or either that or it does the da da dun da da dun dun da. Uh, the entirety of the music fits so well into not only the Western style but Star Wars style, and it fits so well into this character of a Mandalorian. And what I think is the best part is it's so left ambiguous what his backstory is until the very end of this first season. Like, you see flashes like when the armor is being made, but only in the final episode of the first season do you really see the full story behind it. Uh, I think it's really cool that for the second story, he's trying to find some of his people so he can bring the child back to his people. I'm not calling him Baby Yoda. He is not actual Baby Yoda. I'm never going to call him Baby Yoda. But Baby Yoda,
You literally call me baby. No, wait a
I
second. No, that
call him
was
Baby
Flynn.
Yoda. I called him Baby Yoda before, but that's a formality. His canon name is the child, so I'm going to call him the child in
And also, it's
formality.
just funnier to call him the child.
It's a lot funnier to call him the child. So I think that story, that plot point is really cool. And then also putting Ahsoka into the story is the coolest thing in the world because everybody loves her at this point. And
Yeah,
anybody who's
especially
seen the
since
Clone Wars,
Series 7 of the
yeah,
Clone
no,
Wars.
absolutely. Since Series 7, people have loved her. Before, she was kind of bratty, but now she's like an actual character, and I think that's really cool. So hopefully these people have seen the final series for Clone Wars, because I'm pretty sure it's the final season of Clone
It's
Wars.
definitely the final season.
Yeah,
It literally
100%.
took place during Episode 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, it's just so cool, and I could gush over it for hours, honestly. I would give it a 10 out of 10, but because of the spider episode, I gotta give it a 9.5. Just because the spider. No, I'm joking. It's definitely a 10 out of 10 in Star Wars canon. If I had to grade it just based on of itself, I would say it's a 9 out of 10. Just because there's certain things that are meh in it. Like,
Others.
there was, I think it's either episode 4 or episode 3. They go to the village, and the whole episode, they're like, oh, you need to take a break, you gotta blah blah blah, and they think they're in a safe place, and then the whole thing with the Empire comes in, kind of rush through, like, some stuff, like, I don't know, it's a
It's
bit weird.
basically take a break from Hamilton, but put in a Star Wars episode.
Exactly. I think it doesn't work that well, and then also, the plot itself, how we transition from Season 1 to Season 2 isn't incredibly clear. Like, we don't know who gave him the mission. He might have just given that mission to himself to take the child back to his people. But, I don't know. It's a bit weird. And then also, the newest episode, episode 3 of Season 2, as good as it is, I... Is there two Mandalorian paths? Because I have not seen that. It might be in either the in the Bounty Hunter's Guide or the Mandalorian's Guide. Those two they're Star Wars books now, because of course there are. This series has been bloated to death. I love it though. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. Like I don't think I've seen this kind of stuff before. That episode, I think, besides the final episode of the first season, is the only time we've seen Mandalorians take off their helmets. So I don't. It's kind of confusing to watch, but, you know, I think it's cool.
Yeah. Now let's transition over from space westerns to spaghetti westerns.
Spaghetti.
Spagoot.
Yeah, I'll be talking space westerns and, like, space westerns, and, like, you'll be talking about good old spaghetti westerns.
Yeah. I think the one, you cannot talk about spaghetti westerns without mentioning, the Dollars trilogy. I don't think you know what that is, but it's A Fistful of Dollars, for a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Those three movies are kind of connected, so that most of the time they're called the Dollars trilogy. And of course, it stars Clint Eastwood, because of course it stars Clint Eastwood. He was kind of a rising star at that point, so a lot of people wanted him. And of course, all the movies are absolutely spectacular. Sergio Leone is absolutely fantastic when it comes to directing. Like, one of the best shots, I believe, from the entire movie is the opening shot where it's just this town, and you see, coming from far away, are two guys riding on horseback, and it just transitions. They're like transitions from that wide shot of the town to like close-ups, like extreme close-ups of people's faces.
Mm-hmm.
And Sergio Leone made sure to cast people as different from each other as possible, so everyone could be unique.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just those shots. And of course, I can't mention enough the absolute spectacular score by Ennio Morricone. May he rest in peace.
Right.
But Ennio Morricone's scores are all absolutely fantastic. And I think it's definitely like from the Fistful of Dollars theme to the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly theme.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the Ecstasy of Gold, which Nike and Modelo use in their commercials now for some reason.
Right. Well, I'm ashamed to say I've not seen these movies, but I've listened to the scores. The scores are incredible. The musical ideas in each of them are such classics that you really can't hate it. It may be like kind of at this point overused, but it's so classic that you just cannot hate the music in those movies.
And the thing is, they don't. But the sad part is, there's one underrated piece of music that no one uses.
What's that?
Especially when it comes down to the kind of duels, because The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly had possibly the greatest three-way duel in the entirety of film. Like, Shut Up, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. That is not a proper duel. This one is.
Yeah, no, even though you have to be honest, Duel of the Fates is a really cool musical track.
It really is, but the stuff they're chanting is gibberish, and I'd rather have meaning in my lyrics.
Well, yeah, no, that's fair.
But yeah,
that's fair.
back on the score. There's this score that they use called Il Treo, which I don't think I pronounced that correctly. I probably butchered it.
What in the world?
It was Il Treo, or just Italian for the trio, and that's the score they use for the duel.
Interesting.
And there's so much tension. Like, everyone, of course, jokes and parodies the Western duel of, like, the eyes, and it's going around the guns, but in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, that they do it so well that you feel tension, like actual genuine tension. Unlike the other parodies where they try and like make you laugh, in this they actually give it proper tension. The small movements the characters give.
Right.
Like these are gonna be some spoilers, but Tuco, which is the ugly to Clint Eastwood's good and Angel Eyes' bad. Like, Tuco looks over at Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood kind of softens his eyes a bit when looking at Tuco, basically communicating to him that he's not going to shoot him. So Tuco's eyes go from the standard squint to kind of a wider expression, like.
Oh.
When he looks over at Angel Eyes.
So it's.
And there's.
So
It's
it's
incredibly it's subtle.
Yeah, so you're saying it's an incredible cinematography, incredible score. Is there anything bad about the movies?
No,
No, there's
actually,
nothing.
there is. It's because originally they were made in Italian,
Hmm.
and so it covers. So it still does the whole 1960s bad dub.
Right, right. Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
no, I get you.
yeah.
Yeah,
And actually, back on the duel, uh, another fun, subtle movement is Angel Eyes, the bad guy of the film. He
yeah.
he like has his hand go towards the gun, but then Blondie, as Clint Eastwood is called in the movie, looks over at him, and the hand slowly goes away from the gun.
Uh huh.
And
Interesting.
and I think the main reason why they were able to act so perfectly is because Sergio Leone basically had the music playing as the actors were filming the scenes.
That's so cool. I love
Yeah,
that. I love that
so they
so
were listening to the
much.
music to allow them to get all that. Just watch the movie. It's fantastic.
Hmm.
And there's so
Okay.
much tension and all that.
I know this is a bit of a tangent, but that's the point of this. It's Western
Th-
tangents.
yeah, it's tangents.
But this reminds me of, and I don't know why it reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean, because the cinematography, the score, and the characters are so incredibly perfect. I'm not talking the newest ones, because the newest ones are not great, and I'm sure the next one isn't going to be great either, because they're kicking Johnny Depp out for no reason. Uh, they, especially in the original, and I think the second movie, which was Dead Man's Chest, I think.
Yeah, Dead Man's
Dead
Chest.
Man's Chest. Okay, both of them are just so perfect, and then Dead Man's Chest has such a great plot, and it all leads to the chest, and it's so incredible. And all of this is insinuated by the score, and then all the acting and the cinematography is so incredible, and I can't gush about these movies enough, and I can't believe that Disney had to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Disney does in the 2010s and 2020s.
Apparently, because they made the sequel trilogy as well. Which, by the way, since I'm pretty sure you're done with your whole thing with the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly series,
I am.
I'm gonna start talking about the Star Wars sequels. Yay! Star Wars is a Star Wars are Western movies. They are space westerns. All of them are space westerns. It's been confirmed by George Lucas and a lot of a lot of the people who worked on the original. I'm pretty sure the original trilogy. The sequels are not that. They are so leaning into like just generic Disney bullshit. If you know what I mean. Like they
Yeah.
try to bring characters back, but none of them act as they should. Like Han Solo isn't. Well, I guess Han Solo kind of grew as a character by the end of the original trilogy, but the thing is, I get what they were going for with Ben Solo, and it was a really cool moment in the first. I'll be honest, the first movie in the sequel trilogy wasn't horrible. It was viable. It could have led to more, and I would have liked to see something better done for the second movie instead of Luke take his lightsaber that he hasn't seen in years and chucks it. No, that's not. No,
That's not
no,
how
that's
it
not
works.
how he would do that.
That's not how
And then
Star Wars works.
that's not how the Force works.
That's like the best
A
line from the
best
sequel
line,
trilogy.
incredibly, the best line. He doesn't he's so he was so obviously phoning it in, Mark Hamill, because he obviously did not like the script. His best scenes were with Ben Solo, because that's the only other person in that movie who was doing a good job. Besides, and I'm not counting Princess Leia, whose name escapes me right now.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher, thank you. I'm not counting Carrie Fisher because technically she wasn't even in the movie. She should have died in that movie because she was actually dead in real life. I think that it's fucked up that they pulled it that far. Um,
And they made her, like, around in episode 9. Even for a
yeah,
little bit.
it's so bad. But Mark Hamill, and technically Carrie Fisher, and then Adam Driver, who plays Ben Solo, they're the only people doing a good job in that movie. Well, okay, that's a bit harsh, but they're the only ones that like have good, like, that are doing like what they can to still keep it as Star Wars. Because it doesn't feel like Star Wars to me. It feels like a Star Wars spin-off. Like, I'm fine with, like, Rogue One or Solo: A Star Wars Story, even though they're not the greatest, because they're not supposed to be part of the, like, main Star Wars canon. They don't have to be Westerns. Like, they don't have to act as if they are Westerns, or at least have a portion of that be Western. But with the sequels, it's just not at all Western. And that
Although,
doesn't
actually,
feel great, honestly.
one thing I actually really like about the sequel trilogy, I know, me liking something about the sequel trilogy,
Yeah, I know, it's insanely
the
crazy.
way they did the lightsabers. Because the lightsabers, they feel a lot more primal.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. I feel like, yeah, with the lightsabers, they feel more like plasma, as they're supposed to be. Or, in some way, kyber crystals. But it looks like plasma. I'm pretty sure it is supposed to be some sort of plasma.
It's basically plasma.
Yeah, like, they call them laser rifles, so it might as well just be plasma. I'll call it plasma for the rest of this episode. Yeah, they're literal plasma sabers. They're supposed to look kind of insane. And then I think they do it best with Kylo's lightsaber, because it looks so sporadic. But I think that's also the point, because he's so insane for the entire movie. I think the best thing they did was with Kylo. Either him or Finn should have been the main character. Because Finn gets delegated to a guy who shouts Rey for the entire movie, even though he has possibly the most interesting story out of anybody, being an ex-stormtrooper. Like, it's not enough that he's black, he has to be a woman. Like, come on. And then, like, John Boyega, though, he does an incredible job. Apparently, he did not like the movies at all.
He didn't.
He did not. He hated them. I don't like how he was just relegated to a guy who shouts Rey. He's such a good actor. I love him. He's...
Not even Daisy Ridley liked those movies.
Not even. I don't know if the person who plays Rey liked them. I don't know if...
Yeah, that's Daisy Ridley.
Oh, okay.
She did not like them.
She didn't like them either. See, when it's like that, when two minorities tell you that your movie is bad bad. Even though you're trying to be like, oh, look, a female main character. Look how progressive we are. You already made Rogue One. And that was an okay movie. And that was a girl main character. You're fine. I don't think peddling a narrative that you're so progressive because you're using these characters is bad. Because if you're peddling that kind of mindset, then in the future that's all it's going to be. There's going to be no more white male main characters. Which I know that's not going to happen anytime soon. But if we keep going the way we are, many, many years in the future, that might be the truth. And guess what? That's racism. That's literal racism. Racism and sexism. That's not okay. It's really not okay. I don't get why people think you have to have... If you want to write a movie with the female lead, go for it. If you want to write a movie with a black lead, go for it. You don't have to make it about their race or sex. It does not have to be like that. It's completely dumb. It does not make any sense. Just make a story, write your characters into that story, and as long as they act like actual people, I'm fine. Like, I loved Black Panther. Black Panther was an incredible movie in my eyes. The music was incredible. I loved the characters. The story could have been a bit better, but I still liked it. Then I talk about, like, I'm sure that Black Widow, as long as it comes out anytime soon, because I'm pretty sure it comes out soon, or maybe it's already out. Black Widow, I'm sure that's going to be great, because it's Black Widow. Like, unless they try to shoehorn in it being about her gender, I think it'll be fine. Because it's Black Widow. Everybody likes Black Widow at this point. It's so dumb that people feel the need, and I know this is a tangent, but again, that's the point. It's so dumb that people feel the need to be so, quote-unquote, progressive about this kind of stuff. Now, I know it's been a while since I've actually talked about Star Wars at this point, so I'm gonna back a bit. The sequel trilogy, for that reason and a lot of others, like Luke doesn't act the way he should. They should have killed off Princess Leia in the second episode. Not the second, the eighth episode. The second episode of the sequel trilogy. They should have. Reylo is such a disgusting thing. I hated that.
At least it's not as bad as the Onceler fandom.
Don't even. And I don't know. The whole thing is so strange to watch. It's nothing like the original trilogy. In fact, it's a bit too much like the original trilogy at times, too. Like, it literally steals from the original trilogy sometimes as well. It's so close to the original trilogy that it's not even the original trilogy anymore. It's that bad. It's like, it's
so original trilogy that it isn't the original trilogy.
No, it's literally, at the same time that it is the original trilogy, it's nowhere close to the original trilogy. Because it doesn't feel the same. It isn't the same at all. And I don't know, it's so strange to say that, because I'm saying that they're stealing stuff from the original trilogy, but then I'm also saying that it's nothing like the original trilogy, and it can never live up to the original trilogy, but that's going to make people confused, and people are going to call me a hypocrite. I'm not being a hypocrite, I'm saying what I'm saying, because that's why I don't like it. It's so fluctuating on it being an original trilogy ripoff, not ripoff, but an original trilogy style movie, and a style of movie that's so far from the original trilogy that it can't even be called that anymore. It's that confusing. I don't like it.
Yeah.
The ending of the final. There's a reason that George Lucas is retconning it. That's all I'm saying. It's so bad. I really hope that John Boyega and the actor for Rey come back, though. Because they're good actors, I'll admit. They're really good actors. And they deserve another chance at this. But the script they got, the characters they got, just didn't work.
Yeah.
I also hope that they don't force, what's his name, Han Solo.
And they don't force him?
I hope that they don't force the actor for Han Solo to come back. Because I'm pretty sure at this point he's so sick of Star Wars. Like, what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford, thank you. He's so sick of it, he got to do Cyberpunk 2077. He got to do something different. He got to do something other than Star Wars. He's been
I think that was Blade Runner 2049. That
whatever, fuck off. I'm thinking, I have Spider-Man on the brain, shut up. 2049. He got to do something different. It wasn't Star Wars related. It was similar, kind of. It was still techno style, but it was different. And I think he wasn't shoehorning it in then. He was actually having... Because I'm pretty sure he cares about those movies.
Yeah, I believe the reason why he actually doesn't really like to do Han Solo anymore is because it's relegated to nothing more than a supporting role.
Exactly. No. If he was to make a cameo in Solo: A Star Wars Story, like at the end, I'm sure he would have loved to do that, because he's not a supporting character. He doesn't have to be... If Solo: A Star Wars Story was maybe a tad bit... I'm sure... With Solo: A Star Wars Story, as much as it is good, like, I enjoyed it, it's just weird. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Because, I mean, obviously, Childish Gambino did a great job as Lando. Pretty sure that was him, right?
Yeah, that was Childish Gambino.
Yeah. Whatever his real name is.
Donald Glover.
Yeah, they're the same person? What? He was also in Spider-Man. See, that's why I have Spider-Man on the brain, because I was thinking of Donald Glover.
Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man. Loose connections. It's like poetry. To quote George Lucas, it's like poetry.
Yeah, but now to quote Spy from Heavy is Dead. Let's get back to the point.
Oh, I saw that video recently. Can you believe I'd never seen that video until like very recently?
Possibly. It's probably not in your little ballpark.
I've watched it. It's hilarious. Yeah, no. Where was I? Right.
We were talking about westerns.
As much as he does a good job with Lando, the Han in that movie just doesn't act right. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. I think I can probably send you some guy who does like an absolutely fantastic Harrison Ford impression.
Hell yeah, dude.
That actually got cast as a younger Harrison Ford in some other movie. Let's go.
Was it a documentary on Harrison Ford?
No, it was something where Harrison Ford played a character, and that guy played a younger version of that character.
Interesting. Yeah, cool. You can send me that later, because I don't want to have to gunk up the screen. I think I'm done talking about the sequels and then also the spin-off movies for Star Wars, so you can take it away.
Yeah. Alright, so, actually, I have another space western.
Oh?
And it's absolutely fantastic, and it's become a running joke that the show shouldn't have been canceled. It's Firefly.
Firefly! Oh, I've watched a couple episodes of that. I've seen the first episode of Firefly, that's it. I loved it. It was so incredible. The characters are incredible. The story that I'm sure that they told was incredible. The entire thing, it looked like it was going to be incredible. So I don't really understand why they had to cancel it.
Yeah, I believe it was because it was an actual original idea, and for some reason people don't like that.
Yeah, no, we talked about this earlier. I had an idea for a TV show, and it went into my dad having a movie that he pitched to the company that made Cabin in the Woods. And it was pretty similar to Cabin in the Woods. I'm not going into details right now, but it's a story for another day. But I would love for one of these episodes, I think I said this before, to read the manuscript for the movie idea. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Because, like, I don't know how to explain it, because Firefly, it just looks so cool, but then it's an original idea. It's never going to get picked up.
Yeah. Although it did get
be...
into a movie.
It got a movie?
Yeah, it got a movie. It's called
Hell
Serenity.
Yeah. I feel like... You know Steven Universe, right? I think I've talked about Steven Universe a lot.
You have talked about Steven
I've talked about it a lot.
I think
love
you've probably
the show.
done so like every single episode of the series.
I feel like the ending to the original series was rushed. The movie wasn't. The movie was incredible. I loved the movie. Well, parts of it were incredible. But I feel like the ending of the final season of Steven Universe, and then also Steven Universe Future, were kind of rushed. My reason for thinking that is because of deadlines. So you know Rebecca Sugar, she was the creator of Steven Universe, she worked on Adventure Time, she's an incredible writer. The thing with that is I feel like people were getting sick of like the hiatuses and shit that Steven Universe was taking. But after every hiatus was like an incredible story, I feel like for the final season she was kind of rushed through it because they were like, hey, you gotta get this out like now.
Deadlines.
I feel like they should have given her more time. Because if she had gotten more time, if they could have proofread through stuff more thoroughly, they would have realized that they shouldn't really redeem the evil dictators from space. It's that kind of stuff. I feel like she was rushed, and if not, then Rebecca just kind of let me down. I feel like either Rebecca wasn't in full control of it, or in some way there was some sort of rushing of it. Because the entire thing... And then for Steven Universe Future, the ending was rushed literally. So I feel like, again, that was rushed through a bit. Because they need to get it out. I don't know. It felt too awkward to be like what her original vision was for it. I don't know. Anyways, tangent over. Yeah. No.
Back on Firefly. It's actually a very it's as good as you say. It's an absolutely fantastic show. Great characters. Especially the hero ship, the Serenity.
Mm-hmm.
is it's an incredible design. Like, it's absolutely fantastic. I love it. I really love the mechanical nature of it, the moving parts. Heck, it's the reason why I find the Transformers movies a guilty pleasure, because of all the mechanical stuff there.
I mean, fair
But
enough.
that's, yeah, different story for another time.
Story for another time. Hey, I'll be honest.
Episode
The
5.
Transformers movie. Keep going, but no, nah.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to talk about Transformers right now.
Yeah. But yeah, the Serenity, absolutely fantastic hero ship. All the characters are distinct with their own personalities, but can still get along really well. I love the sense of friendship they have. And also just the world building and all the stuff that happened, like I think it was the Unification War or something. And then the Reavers. I think they were the Reavers. I'm not sure. I haven't watched the series in a while. It's all just a great, fantastic show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It sounds
but that
like...
leads me...
Did they have, like, a plan for season 2? Or did they want to end it as season 1?
I think they probably had plans for season 2, but they wanted to, like, make a self-contained story.
Right, no. I feel like the same thing could be said of Star Wars, actually. The original trilogy is self-contained, but the prequels came out. They were books before they were movies, I'm pretty sure, so... Or were they? I might be completely fucking wrong. Because I know there are books of each of the stories in the movies. But I'm not sure if they were made before or after.
Yeah.
So, yeah, keep going.
Yeah, and actually, the sci-fi, small group in a big ship, that actually reminds me of another series that actually has some really good Western episodes, Doctor Who. Because, surprisingly, a British show about a madman with a box...
Mm-hmm. A madman with a box, I love that description. I feel...
Yeah, no, that's even one of the names of the songs.
That's incredible. I feel like I haven't watched a lot of Doctor Who. I have seen a lot of the newest season with, what's her name?
Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie Whittaker. She does not feel like the Doctor. She's so out of her league with this kind of role. Like, I feel like they tried to make the Doctor too young. I'm not sure if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, it doesn't make sense, because Matt Smith is, like, actually far younger, and he's a fantastic Doctor.
She acts younger. The Doctor, as you know, he reforms every however long. He should look... He looks different every time. Like, he can look whatever age, but his actual age is always, like, however long. He's an aged man, he's a traveled man, or woman, I guess, in this case now. Which, I mean, kind of weird that a man turned into a woman. I mean,
it is possible in Time Lord biology.
Yeah, it is completely possible, but it's a bit weird. I don't know. It doesn't feel like the Doctor, not because she's a woman, but because she doesn't feel as traveled as the other Doctors do. Like, in this case, I'm pretty sure... Oh, I hate when this happens. But the director was like, oh, it's supposed to be like a soft reset of the Doctor. And I was like, dude, come on. The entire Doctor canon at this point is so insane that you might as well just keep it there. Like, I'm pretty sure you could watch, as long as you know who the Doctor is, you could watch any of the seasons, like without watching the others, and you'd be completely fine to watch it.
Yeah, and like, actually, back on you saying, like, the Doctor acts far younger than they are, the thing is, Matt Smith actually does the same, does a very similar thing with his Doctor, which is kind of childish.
Really?
But unlike Jodie Whittaker, there actually are moments where he does get really, really dark. Like, especially one quote that I love is from the episode When a Good Man Goes to War, when he says, "Good men don't need rules. Today's not the day to find out why I have so many."
Yeah. And then you also sent me that quote.
I think that was actually with Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm
going
to read it for you guys. Actually, I'm not. It's a really long one. But the entire monologue is about how he doesn't do stuff to win, he does stuff because it's right, and because it's just. And I feel like, with that, you know the Doctor's motivations at that point. He's a person who fights for what is right. Like, he wants things to be right in the universe, multiverse, whatever. All of it is, like, profound. He's an aged man, he's a traveled man. He shouldn't act as childish. Well, he can act as childish as he wants. Anybody can act childish. But he shouldn't act foolish or naive. That's not his character. His or her, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. There is one other thing I don't get about Jodie's doctor. She eats dirt and then immediately knows it's around her in one episode. Like, there's literally one time she eats dirt and says there's an alpaca farm about 25 miles away with a gift shop and a low TripAdvisor rating.
I don't think that's a thing that the Doctor can do. If it is, if there are any Doctor fans in the audience, please let me know if that's actually a thing that the Doctor can do. I'm incredibly not sure, but it does not feel like it should be. All the episodes in that one, much like with Star Wars, are so... They're just, like... At this point, a lot of places are just virtue signaling. The entirety of season 13 is almost just virtue signaling for the fact of just virtue signaling. I don't. At this point, it's just getting tiring that all this stuff is happening, because you can just feel like one of the episodes I'm pretty sure is about, like, Rosa Parks.
Yeah, Rosa Parks.
Yeah, it does not. I don't like it. I really don't like it, because it's just virtue signaling. There are, like, a couple episodes where it's just virtue signaling for the sake of it. Like, there's no reason that, like, I don't know. They don't even talk about wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff. I hate it.
Yeah. But yeah, back on the original subject with Doctor Who, Matt Smith's tenure actually had a lot of good Western episodes.
Really?
And also there's this one small thing where Matt Smith, as the Doctor, has a cowboy hat on, and honestly, I wish the Doctor wore cowboy hats more often. It works.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a hilarious episode. I think it's with the Doctor who has the scarf, the colorful scarf.
Oh, that's Tom Baker, yeah.
Yeah, Tom Baker. I saw this clip. It was hilarious. They're speaking in another language, so I don't know what they were saying exactly. There were subtitles, but I can't remember right now. Where he's, like, holding up a cross to this guy, and he's like, "Ha, I'm Jewish." And the Doctor's like,
"No, wait a sec. No, that wasn't... That actually, isn't... That's not actually even a,
That's not a thing?
That's not Doctor Who. That's just some weird parody film.
Oh, really? Okay, I need to tell you
no,
this.
It's just a Western parody film.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much, though, so I have to tell you. He takes out a cross, the guy's like, "Ha, I'm Jewish," and I think it's still the same guy, though, who plays the Doctor.
No, it's not him. Tom Baker and that guy, I believe that character in that film was Jacinto. Yeah, the two don't look...
He looks kind of similar. He then takes out swastika, and then the guy's like, "Ah!" I love it. It's so hilarious.
You just need to, like, send the link in the description or something like that.
Yeah, I can't right now because I'm sharing my whole screen, but yeah.
Exactly.
It's hilarious. I love it. So actually, I think it's... No, I'd have to scroll up a while in the memes chat on her channel. Yeah. It's completely hilarious. If you haven't seen it, I'm hoping that you find it someday, y'all. Yeah, I think with Doctor Who, I really want to watch it, but I've never had the time or energy to. Oh, you're typing something.
Although, if you want, it was mainly, I have the link to that Harrison Ford impersonator.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, we can watch that really quickly.
Anthony and Gruber.
Okay, hold on, you gotta be quiet so we can actually hear it.
Han Solo. I'm Captain of the Millennium Falcon. Courier tells me you're looking for a passage to the Alderaan system. A fast ship? You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? It's the ship that made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
Okay, before we continue, I have a complaint, George Lucas. A parsec is a unit of measurement, not a unit of time. Thank you.
Yeah, I think how they explained it in Solo, where it was Han finding a shortcut. Han
No,
finding
but
a
still,
shortcut in the Kessel Run.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I think they're trying to use it as a unit of time still. It's weird. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's a really good impersonation. I love it. Anyways, I think... Are you done with talking about Doctor Who stuff?
Actually, I'll leave you with a good series recommendation. If you want to get like the full story of the Doctor, then of course you have to start from season 1 with William Hartnell. But if you want to get into the modern Who and the actually fantastic story arc about the Time War and how the Doctor is kind of accepting what he did during the Time War, which I'm not going to spoil. Then start with Series 1 of the Revival in 2005 with Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor, which then quickly transitions over to David Tennant, which many people think is their best Doctor, then Matt Smith, then Peter Capaldi, and then just, like, end it with The Doctor Falls. Or, if you want to continue, then there's a special called Twice Upon a Time, a Christmas special where Peter Capaldi's Doctor meets up with the first Doctor.
Speaking of Christmas specials, no, we're not going over. We're not going over the Star Wars Christmas special. That was a joke. I'm sorry. No, I'm not doing that today. I actually want to talk about. I'm gonna step away from space westerns for a moment because you did a space western. I'm gonna do a regular western, Back to the Future 3. Now, Back to the Future 3, it is a western. You can't tell me it's not a western. It's 100%. It's half of a western, because even with like the bloated big bad villain guy who's also a bandit, who was it? It was Buffalo Bill or some shit.
Buford Tannen.
Right. It was incredible. Like, the first time I saw it, it was so hilarious. And then the second time I saw it, I just looked at all the effects, because the effects in this movie were so incredible. The train scene is possibly the most iconic scene from that movie. Everybody knows about it. All the effects in that scene were mostly practical, actually. If you've seen it, they actually rode horses. A stunt woman actually hung off of the back of the train for several seconds to get that shot. It's all incredible. Some of it was done with green screen, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm sure some of it was. But most of it was actually practical. And I love it. It was so incredible. And I'm pretty sure the explosion at the end was not practical. It was, I'm pretty sure, done with minis. I'm not 100% on that. You could correct me if you know completely.
Yeah, it was miniatures, but I believe that still counts as a practical effect.
Yeah, you could count that as a practical effect. If you want to count that kind of stuff, and then also the stuff they did in the original Star Wars as practical effects, I'm fine with that. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about Back to the Future 3. It's not extraordinary. It's just like an ending to a trilogy, and you know, that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be incredible. It just has to like end with some finality. But speaking of trilogy,
actually, there is a fun thing about Back to the Future 3 that I really like. It's the completion of Doc's storyline. Because originally in the first film, Doc was kind of this cowardly figure. And when the Livians get to him, he like barely knows how to like cock a small revolver. And then by the time we get to 3, he basically evolves and grows to the point where he is able to be a crack shot with the rifle. And he basically evolves to become this far braver, basically cooler figure.
Right, yeah, no, I love that. I also feel like there's this funny little... Okay. With Back to the Future 3, it's really good. At the end scene, one of the kids that were acting as Doc's sons was just pointing
I think it was Vern. Yeah, it was
pointing
him
at their dick their whole time.
Yeah, actually, the kid actually said this later. It was because he had to use the bathroom during that scene, and there was no
Oh,
way he could actually properly communicate that
that's dude.
because Doc was still acting.
And yeah, no, he should have just interrupted. That it makes for something really funny and a really cool Easter egg there. But that's, ooh, kid.
Yeah,
Just hold it
the
in, man.
yeah, it's just yeah, you gotta admire his dedication.
Gotta
He didn't want to
admire it.
ruin the absolutely fantastic moment between them.
I mean, oh my gosh, there. Speaking of trilogies, now that we're done, I did want to talk a little bit as well about the original Star Wars trilogy. Because again, Star Wars is a space western. I don't think I can stress that enough. Not enough people know this. Star Wars is a space western. Uh, with Star Wars, we all know that the scores are iconic. John Williams is a god amongst men when it comes to composing. He just does so incredible with all of his scores. Like, I think he did Jurassic Park, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, he did Jurassic Park. He did Star Wars. He did all these classics. I'm pretty sure he also did Potter, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Uh,
he also did the original Superman film.
yeah, he made all of these classics. He made Star Wars, Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, Superman. His repertoire is just incredible, and you cannot hate him if you listen to his music. His music is always so iconic. Like, when you think of Jurassic Park, you almost always think of the music. That incredible, like, doo 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 doo. That was just became
Absolutely
iconic.
spectacular.
And then the "What Are Those" meme came in and just "What are those?" Uh,
Yeah.
you, and then like Harry Potter. The classic theme with that, I'm pretty sure, is I haven't watched those films in a
do
while.
do do do
Do
do
do
do
do do
do.
do 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 do. Yeah, iconic, absolutely iconic. And then of course Star Wars we have blah, da, da, da. The
Yeah, the
first
dun.
da, 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 da. Possibly his most iconic scores have come from Star Wars. Duel of the Fates, all those types of stuff.
Yeah, the
Duel of the
trench run
Fates,
as well.
the Trench one, all these scores. Did he do all the scores for the sequel trilogy? Because the sequel trilogy still had some
He
incredible music.
he did actually.
Most of the,
He did all of that.
although for the eighth and ninth episode, they stole a lot from the original trilogy for the music.
Yeah. And then sadly, there was supposed to be a cool John Williams remaster of Duel of the Fates for
That would have
episode
been
9, but they
so
didn't use
cool.
it.
That would have been. Ugh, that would have been so cool. I burped. Ugh. Dude, I would have loved that, but it just didn't happen. I feel like. What am I thinking? 1 second. Right, John Williams scores. Yeah, his original scores are so great. He did prequel, original, and sequel, all of them. You can tell when he's making the music for a movie because it's always so grandiose. It's always an orchestra. It's always like he has a particular style of using really strange chords and like chord progressions and like inner movements. All of it is so fun and I love it so much. Like you can hear it within his music that he cares about it. I'm not sure if he did the music for Mandalorian, but I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Sadly, no.
I'm pretty sure he didn't. Yeah,
did not do the Mandalorian.
the style is much different. For Mandalorian, it's much more big brass than full orchestra. But it's so fun. I love John Williams' scores. He always makes them so incredible. It always changes the scene for the better, and I just love it so much. And
Yeah.
dude, I could not gush enough over the music in any of John Williams' movies. Because Jurassic Park, of course, that's iconic. All the music in that. The main theme for Jurassic Park, at least, is so iconic, and they use it over and over again in those movies, and I never get sick of it. And then for like
Yeah.
Harry Potter, you cannot hate the score in Harry Potter. I don't think there's a single person alive who hates the scores in Harry Potter. Because, oh my lord. Like, unless you hate music completely, I don't think you wouldn't like that. Like, ugh. You could put it into pretty much any style and it would still work.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing with John Williams' music. It works in almost every single style.
Yeah.
Like,
I have
I've
to
even
drink some
heard, like,
water.
a lo-fi jazzy version of the Imperial March they did, and it still works very well.
That's how I would do that.
The one I'm talking about is, like, the slight office-style jazzy version, elevator music style, of when Darth Vader was lowering down the games to Jontron in Starcade.
I remember that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, the do.
Yeah, no, if I were to do a jazzy beat for that, what I just did would be it. Because jazz, that's not exactly jazz, that's elevator music style. Jazz is much more, you have
Peppy
yeah, it's
and
much,
fun.
it has pep, and then also you have a lot of more, offbeats, like do 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 do. And then of course you also have ghost notes, but I'm not gonna get into that. Yeah, no, you could put a John Williams score into any style and it would most likely work. Um, it's just so incredible.
Yeah, I think they actually, I believe they actually parodied that in, I think it was one of the Family Guy Star Wars parodies. I think it was called Something Something Dark Side, where it went over, episodes, where it went over episode 6, and John Williams, I think it was one of the openings to, like, the Oscars, and it
Mm-hmm.
still kind of worked with the scene.
Oh, it's
Even,
incredible. Yeah,
yeah.
John Williams is such an incredible composer. I just feel like he could do pretty much any movie and it will make the movie like 5 times better. Just for the music alone. Like, okay, I know it's not a Western. Again, I'm going on a tangent. I talked to you about those 2 Disney films, those Disney Channel originals.
The zombies ones?
Zombies and Zombies 2. Horrible movies. Not horrible, I shouldn't say that. The story is fine. It has a through line, it makes sense, it has continuity. But the score, oh my lord. The music in that show, as pop as it works. For the movie itself, it works. It's the same thing with Descendants. You know, if you ever talk to me about Descendants or Zombies, or the Zombies movies, I'll gush over the music. I won't gush over anything else. I'll gush over the music, though. Both of them are very pop-esque, or just full-on pop with zombies. But it works. They always find a way to make it work. Like, you'll see, like with Descendants 2, you have the differing styles of the main cast and then Uma's crew. Because for Uma, you'll have more rock-esque. They'll have rock pop instead of just pop. It makes for an interesting movie. I'm not talking about Descendants 3. It's so bad. It's like actually bad. There's no thorough line. It doesn't make sense. It's bad. I'm not going to talk about it. But Descendants 2 and Descendants 1, incredible music. Zombies 2 and Zombies 1, incredible music. I'm not excited to see what Zombie 3 is going to be like, because there was a cliffhanger in Zombies 2. So hopefully they don't fuck it up. For Descendants, I'd give the first one an 8 out of a 10, surprisingly, on the Jello Apocalypse scale, where a 5 is an average. I'd give it an 8 out of 10, surprisingly, because it's actually pretty good. And then also, R.I.P. Cameron Diaz. And then the second one would get like a 6 out of 10. It's a bit worse, but it still works. And then for Zombies, 6 out of 10 for the first one, 5 out of 10 average for the second. Oh, and then Descendants 3 gets like a 2. It's bad. It is bad.
Yeah.
The music is okay still, but it's not as great. I don't know the composers for that one, the lyricists or the composers for those ones, but I know for Zombies they got I think a Broadway actor to do the music for that one, but I'm not sure about Descendants. Even though all the actors in Descendants as well, holy shit. There was the person from Liv and Maddie, whose name I cannot remember. Cameron Diaz, of course, R.I.P. And then there was the guy who plays Jafar's son and the girl who plays Evil Queen's daughter. I think all the main actors, and then also the person who plays the Beast's son, and all the actors do an incredible job in that movie. None of them are phoning it in. It's perfect. Yeah, it's not perfect, actually. The acting is incredible, but it's not perfect. I'm not going to say that. I always seem to exaggerate things a lot. I try to catch myself, but, it happens. But yeah. This tangent has gone on for long enough. What were we
Yeah, it's
talking
gone
about?
on for long enough. Let's go.
No! I accidentally opened a tab. Hold on. Okay, there we go. We're fine. Like I said, I'm a horrible editor, so I'm probably not even going to cut that out. Okay, go ahead. What were we talking about?
Actually, since we're talking about bad movies now, let's go over a bad western. I think it was a Once Upon a Time in the West, or something. I don't know. It starred Will Smith,
Mm-hmm.
and it was basically just like it was based off of an old '60s show that almost no one watched.
Uh-huh.
It was a whole bunch of odd things like there was hypnosis. There were like those hypno spirals hidden like artificial breeds.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. There's transvestite agents.
Okay.
A giant mechanical spider made out of CGI.
Nope.
And also a terrible pun.
Nope, I'm already done. Once you said the spider, I'm not watching that movie.
It's an artificial spider. Like, it's so artificial. It's made out of like wood and metal, and there's like steam coming out of it.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
clearly Yeah, it's a mechanical spider.
Gotcha. Okay, well, yeah, no, that sounds horrible. What's it called? What's it called
really
again?
is.
What?
I think it's like Once Upon a Time in the West.
Interesting. Okay. Alright, I want to talk about something actually good. Because we've been talking about bad shit for a while. I want to talk about Avatar season something, episode something. It's the Zuko episode. The one that... It's pretty iconic within the Avatar community for being one of the best episodes. I trying to remember... Hold on. I'm sure I can look it up right now. I'm on my phone. I'm looking it up. Hold on. I could find it. Avatar... I think it's called Zuko's Journey or something? No, I don't think it is, actually. Holy crap. What is it called? Oh, Zuko Alone. That's the episode. The entire thing is after he splits up with Uncle Iroh, who is probably the best character in that entire series. In fact, most of Avatar has a Western style type thing. It's obviously not entirely Western, but it has like a tang of Western whenever Zuko's around. Because each of their characters have like their own little style of thing. Like Zuko is very obviously aggressive, and he fits a Western hero style. He's a bad guy looking for redemption, so that's first thing. So for Zuko Alone, it's so Western that you just can't ignore it. He rides a bird thing that acts as a horse. He has like 2 short swords on him, so it's not exactly Western, but he uses his 2 short swords as weapons.
Yeah, but come on, you think they'd have guns in Avatar?
That's true. He tries to hide a part of himself, specifically firebending, to keep from outing himself as a bad person. Because he thinks of himself as a bad person at this point. He tries to find redemption through a family that he meets. He has a good time, and then a person comes around. He's sounding very Western now, who's trying to hurt him. He uses his firebending, everybody hates him, he leaves. It's very paraphrased. Watch the episode if you haven't. In fact, watch the entirety of Avatar if you haven't, because it's incredible. The Last Airbender, don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie about blue men.
Yeah, don't watch the Blue Man Group.
No, watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. Don't watch the live-action movie. Just watch the TV series. Don't watch Legend of Korra. I'm not going into it. But yeah, if you haven't seen, but if I had to pick a episode that summarizes Zuko, Zuko alone is definitely one of them. If I had to pick one that shows what Avatar's about, it would be Tales of Ba Sing Se. But if it had to be about Zuko, or if you really like Western, I would show you that episode specifically. It's so good. Anyways, yeah, that's my little Avatar rant of the day done. Yeah, Legend of Korra is just, she's so bratty, fucking asshole.
All right.
Tenzin is the only Tenzin, who is voiced by J.K. Simmons. If you didn't know, Tenzin is the only good part of that show. I swear, he's the only one I care about.
Okay, now I can imagine Tenzin just slamming a desk saying, "Get me more pictures of Spider-Man."
Yeah, watch the show. If you watch a video of Tenzin, it sounds like J.K. Simmons. It's like 100%. I said this.
He even looks like J.K. Simmons.
A little bit, yeah. We haven't said this with McCree and Matthew Mercer.
Oh yeah, Matt Mercer McCree looks like Matt Mercer, like a lot.
Like I can scroll up on my thing. If you look at McCree again, I burped. You can't really see his face right now, but even the impressionist there looks like a young Harrison Ford. How is this happening?
Yeah.
I don't understand sometimes. Like, it's so weird. I don't know. It's, I don't know. There are a lot of coincidences, but I think, much like with what happened in Detroit Become Human, I think for Overwatch, they tried to stylize the characters around who was voicing them so that the voices sound natural. I'm not sure if they actually did that, but the faces are very similar to the people who play them. Except for very clear examples of, like, Roadhog and the hamster. The hamster is actually voiced by a guy. Like, the hamster sounds. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, the hamster sounds that Hammond makes. Oh, sorry, not Hamster. His name isn't Hammond, it's Jeremiah Gerbil. Get it right. The hamster sounds that Hammond makes are voiced by a person. Like, fully voiced. It's incredible. But anyways, enough of that tangent. Yeah, I'm gonna actually talk about McCree for a bit, because I feel like McCree and Ash have an interesting story that we just have not seen yet. Because at this point, the shorts are the only lore we have. Even TF2 does a better job of this with all of its comics. Like, I don't know. It's a bit weird. TF2 does actually a good job of bringing in diversity. Diversity, quote-unquote, because they actually don't have many black characters yet. They do have them, but they don't have a lot of them, is the thing. They have Doomfist, they have Farah and, what's her name? Anna. They have, we don't, there are a bunch. Of course there's a diversity. It's pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's like a near 50-50 split on males, females for Overwatch as well. So they actually do a good job of showing diversity, like, it isn't forced on us, and it doesn't focus on it. They are what they are. Each of them are stylized off of a different trope as well, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
I feel like, but all of them, like, even though they have tropes, they are still characters, is the thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is, like, the best part. Because, just like with TF2, they have character and they act as tropes. Still. Like, within game, they act as tropes. Like, you still have the rocket launcher shotgun dude. With, actually, not really.
His name is Soldier Mate.
No, he doesn't have a rocket launcher. Well, kind of. He has the rockets, but he doesn't have a rocket launcher. You have Doomfist, who is just a guy who fists. Wait, no, that's so wrong. No, cut that. Cut that. I'm not cutting that. I'm also a lazy editor. Yeah, just there's a lot of diversity, but they also act as tropes while still being characters. It's interesting. Anyways, do you have any other Western stuff to bring up?
For me, I actually have a little bit of. I actually have to touch upon like actual westerns because we've been going over spaghetti westerns, space westerns, like fantasy westerns, but we haven't actually gone on like classic Hollywood western movies like
Fair enough.
True Grit starring John Wayne.
So, are spaghetti? Do you not count spaghetti westerns as like actual westerns?
Spaghetti westerns are a distinct type of western, like
Right.
how space westerns. Spaghetti westerns are Italian. They're more realistic as to how it was, because westerns have a slight idealized version of the Wild West in movies like True Grit or other classic John Wayne-esque films, and and some Ronald Reagan films.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because Ronald Reagan was an actor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Sorry
John
about
Wayne.
that. Sorry,
Yeah,
I have to apologize to the audience really quick. We didn't know if it was gonna keep recording past like 20 minutes, so I was just checking it really quick. It is still recording. Don't worry. Um, so I'm really
yeah.
sorry about that. You had to. That's OBS. I use OBS to record shit. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, because Filmora, it don't work anymore.
Yeah, we tried Bandicam, but you have to pay for it, and that's complete boosh.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
But back on the subject, John Wayne westerns are actually really good because John Wayne himself is actually a really good actor. He has this authority about him
Uh-huh.
that really carries around him, and even in some Ronald Reagan westerns, he has this presence, this kind of authority about him that shows that he's basically this tough but fair leader. And I really liked that, especially with I think it was one of his war films, The Fighting Seabees. And but yeah, just his western movies. They're a distinct different type of western. They're the more idealized western with like the good guys in the white cowboy hats versus the bad guys who dressed in all leather, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, all that fun stuff. It's just good, wholesome fun, and I really like it. I recommend watching John Wayne Western films. I think I have a John Wayne collection downstairs. Yeah, it's just that small, really fun. It's just really fun movies, especially with I think a perfect John Wayne quote from True Grit is, "Fill your hands, you son of a bitch." As he legit puts the horse that he's on, he puts the reins in his mouth as he holds a lever action
Whoa.
rifle in one hand and a
Whoa!
revolver in another.
Dude, that's so incredibly epic. I love that.
Yeah,
Dude, it's something I wish I could do in Red Dead 2. That would be incredible. I love that.
yeah, it would. They should have dual wielding more often in video games.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
that
But
is a
that's
discussion for
just a
another
theory. A
time.
gay
A
theory.
game theory.
I feel like, yeah, no, a lot of games could benefit from dual wielding. I know we play D&D a lot, me and Jack. In fact, at some point, I might actually record the next campaign we're doing.
Yeah, record the next campaign.
I have to ask for permission first from everyone, of course. But yeah. But you have dual wielding in D&D as well. I think the coolest thing you can do with it, if you have the optional firearms, which I do for this next campaign, you can dual wield revolvers and pistols, which I think is incredible because they're not two-handed weapons. Of course, you can use them two-handed, but it doesn't do anything. But they're not two-handed weapons, so you can use them in tandem with each other. You could have a revolver in one hand, a pistol in the other, or you could go double pistols and just blam blam some bitches.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and I think the coolest part about it, I think the coolest part about dual wielding is having the ability to do double damage. It's so much fun. Of course, double damage doesn't do a lot if you don't use it. So say you have a character who has two-weapon fighting, or some other feat that would give them two-weapon fighting. You want to use it whenever you can, unless you're using some sort of two-handed weapon or... Actually, I think you have the ability, if you have a light crossbow, to use that and then a simple weapon. A simple melee. If you have two-weapon fighting, you can do that. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to check, but two-weapon fighting in D&D is so much fun, because you can have some pretty cool moments. Like, I know that Artyom has his Stardust Blade, but I'm not sure if that's a two-weapon thing, or if it's just the one weapon.
Two-weapon.
Two-weapon? So
He did originally have two swords,
yeah.
but...
Is it two Stardust Blades?
No. It was back in the original campaign. He had a...
Yeah, he had
Vorpal he had a Vorpal and a Holy Avenger.
I gave them probably too many magical items for my own good, but I gave Artyom a Vorpal longsword and a Holy Avenger longsword. He chose those himself. It came from a merchant who was kind of just grateful.
Merchant? No, that was the genie, man.
Oh, right, it was the genie. That was the genie. I thought it was the merchant, but apparently not. Because he actually owned multiple Vorpal longswords. But the Vorpal longsword can cut off a creature's head, and a Holy Avenger longsword, I think, just adds damage, depending.
Yeah, it adds radiant damage against fiends and undead.
Yeah. I feel like I create a lot of the creatures that they fight, just to keep it fresh. So as soon as we jump into doing the sessions, I feel like I'm hoping that you guys in the audience won't be confused, because it shouldn't be confusing. It's all just me doing my thing, because I enjoy it. Anyways, I think we're done for now with all the Western stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't have much else to talk about. I think it's been about an hour 20. I'm gonna get this into Filmora, I'm gonna edit it, and then we're gonna have a video. So, thank you all for watching. It's been an incredible time. Everybody, have a good day. I'm not sure what else to say at this point. If you've seen Unus Annus, then Memento Mori, Memento Vitae, actually. Have a good day. Jack, do you have some final words?
Final words? My final words this time is a quote from one of the actors I mentioned and the former president, Ronald Reagan.
Oh, interesting.
And I quote, "Politicians in diapers should be changed frequently and for the same reason."